Hey, we're back again. We were just you're never going to see that because we had to start back over because we didn't know we did a mic check. That's technical. You don't care about that. What you do care about is episode 8, our episode 8, the checkpoint. Also really excited for Star Wars. I said that last time. I'm going to say it this time again because I like that I said that. With me is this guy.
Mike One-Way Spanish. Who are
this
you?
This guy, I don't know. Ryan the Rugged Marshall, I think. We're just going to start it right off with our favorite topic. We always do it. We're not going to take a lot of time on it. We talk too much about it. There's other stuff to talk about, and it is
much better things.
Best video game set around Christmas. You always start, so I'm going to start. You made me start last time. I'm going to start again. And it is Batman Arkham Origins. It's my favorite video game that takes place during Christmas. There was a close second, but the only reason I didn't pick the close second is because it's not always Christmas, and that was Bully. Bully has a pretty good chunk of the gameplay that's set in Christmas, which I really, really like. And Arkham Origins, it gets a bad rap, but it's actually a really good game. Just when you compare it to, Arkham City and Arkham Knight, it seems worse, but it's still a good game. I think it literally takes place on Christmas Eve. It's like Batman games. I think are.
Sounds about
they
right.
always like to do like the one night, which I kind of like. It's like everything takes place in one night, even though you play for like 43 hours. All just takes place in one fucking night.
Yeah.
Love the game. Check it out if you haven't already. It's the origin story, sort of origin story of Batman. It's how he meets the Joker. I will say, as one of the coolest fights in any of the Batman games, which is your fight with Deathstroke. Very tactical. Very like it's like chess. Feels like a game of chess. It's really cool. We won't talk too much about it. Batman Arkham Origins. How about you? What's yours?
I haven't played that, but I did know it was set around Christmas, and I might have chose it if I'd ever played it. I had a lot of trouble with this. I had to start Googling a lot of games that had like Christmas levels in it. So I settled on Kingdom Hearts 2, and you go to Halloween Town, and I actually really like. I really like that movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
Whether it's a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie, it's kind of both. But
it's like our T-shirt hoodie. It's a hybrid of both.
Yeah, hey, it's 2 in 1, so package deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that I kind of had trouble with this one, but yeah,
it's a great game.
It is.
There's also Die Hard, the Die Hard trilogy.
So
did you see that? If you Googled it, I'm sure you saw it.
I saw it, but I didn't. I never played those.
It's good.
So.
I played it. It was like actually one of the first games I think I had for PS1. I had like Crash Bandicoot, Die Hard trilogy, Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. Nope. Just regular Legacy of Kain. I think the first Legacy of Kain where it's like top down, and you could like suck the blood from across the room, and you just see like the blood just going to your mouth. Wonderful fucking game, by the way. Hated the Soul Reaver series. Didn't like Soul Reaver, but I loved all the Blood Omen and the Legacy of Kain stuff. But yeah, check it out.
Well, let's talk about a game that we both love and we've both started to play. Final Fantasy 15.
We do love it.
The very normal, as of late. The first thing we'll talk about is our Final Fantasy 15 follow-up.
Yeah, it's our FF update. We're going to be doing it weekly until we beat the game.
FF update.
Our FF update. First of all, last time we talked last week, we were in a similar area, although I don't know where you're at now. We were both in Chapter 3 last time.
Nothing's changed. I'm still in Chapter 3. I still haven't played any more stories since the last time.
You're just 60 more hours into it. Still in Chapter 3.
I think I'm 23 hours in or so, 22 hours in, something like that, and there's still side quests and tons of hunts that I haven't done.
Yeah. I love it.
Tell me something you've done that was interesting. Something that's not too spoilery.
Well, I would say, it's like so Final Fantasy 15, I always try to think about things that's to me, and I think we've even mentioned this before, when you're playing story missions, it very much feels like a single-player game, and when you're doing side missions, it very much feels like an MMO. They're very, very close to MMO side missions, which those I don't feel. I just feel like it's.
You got really loud there for a second, so.
I did.
It was weird. You got really loud, and then you're better now. So.
That's good.
Pretend it never happened. No one saw anything.
And never bring it up again.
Keep going.
Yeah, I feel like they're very much like side, like MMO side missions. It's like, I guess fetch quests are in a lot of RPGs, but but it's okay. I'm okay with it because the land is beautiful. I very much enjoy the combat. I love how stylized it is, so I'm enjoying it. But something I did to answer your question, It was cool. Like I went to, I don't remember what town I was in, but I talked to the guy at the restaurant. Tipster, is it tipster? Is that what they're called?
Tipsters.
They're basically
I don't know whether to just call them like the servers or like the
servers,
waiter
waiters,
or whatever.
owner.
That's called
Basically
tipsters.
Yeah, so like you could do three things when you go to a tipster. The first thing is just talk to them, and what that means is they basically unlock map locations, specialty map locations. The second thing you can do is eat. They have usually 2 or 3 items, and they give you different boosts. And the third thing you do is they always have their own specialized hunts. Anyway, went to this tipster, and he's like, "Hey, guess what? There's a fucking dungeon back there." I'm like, "Fucking back there?" He's like, "Yeah, you should go check it out." And I was like, "Okay, that's pretty cool." Like, I got to do the story eventually, but I'm gonna go do the fucking dungeon because that's most of the game I've played is side missions. So like it's kind of so. I'm gonna say a few things about this. So I finally went to this, and I was even texting our executive producer when I was, and he hadn't even been there yet, which just was something I thought was because he was like much further in the game, and he was like, "Yeah, like I actually haven't even been to that dungeon yet because I don't think, at least I don't know if there's ever a time as in the story that you go there, but I just went there." I was climbing a mountain / volcano. It was really, really cool. And like, it just, like, knowing, it's just like, it had nothing to do with the story, but it was like this really just like involved dungeon. I mean, you're climbing a mountain, but it was a dungeon, so it was like kind of branching paths, and I fought like new enemies that I hadn't seen yet. I got a cool new royal weapon. I'm just really digging the game. And I will say now, I actually am further. I am in I think I'm on chapter 6. I've gotten a couple of the astrals, which is this game's version of summonings. I've got to use them. I won't talk too much about them. I got to use my first one. It's super fucking epic. But I think I'm about 25 hours in, and I think I just hit level 42. I want to say. Yeah.
Wow. I've done a lot more running around than you because I'm level 20. Well, I'm level 28, but I'm sitting on 15,000 experience. I haven't slept in 3 days in the game.
I know what you mean, but I haven't slept. I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything.
Not in real life, in the game.
Yeah.
The cool thing that I did recently was I was doing a side quest where you have to take the pictures for the Vive guy or whatever.
The dude that looks like the guy from Lost.
Yes.
The fat dude from Lost. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that was intentional.
You get a lot of money from doing those, actually. It's pretty worth doing all.
Well, the last one I did, which was like the third one, and it's like a level 12 or whatever. I got 10,000 gil, so that was cool. Yeah. But anyways, so I needed to take a picture, but I was doing a whole bunch of other quests on the way, so I kind of came down and I took the picture, and I had to go to like the other side. But I was like, well, I have like 3 quests over, in this part of the map. And nighttime came as I was heading over to the other spot, and so I was like, it's like 11 p.m. I don't want to drive all the way back to the city or whatever and like rest or do whatever just to come all the way right back here. I was like, I'll just see what it would be like to chill out here. And
had you not been like staying up at night?
I had no. This was like this was the tail end of my 3rd day. So I had already gone through 2 nights. Like I had been out at night. Like I knew what it was like, but I'd never sat in one spot the entire night. I was always running around. Well, if you sit in one spot, you are like, at least in this part of the game in chapter 3, you're constantly flooded with the Imperials.
Yeah, they keep dropping.
They're constantly dropping ships on you, and then that you constantly having demons pop up, and it kind of varies. I got a couple bombs, I got a couple goblins or whatever, but I got like 4 or 5 of the Iron Giants, which is fine because I'm level 28.
At the same time?
No, just like through the night. Like they just kept coming. Like it was just more and more and more. And so they're not super difficult, but they'll easily take out Prompto or whatever. And so
if you're not, if they get a good shot on you, that could be your entire health bar in one hit. If you're just like not paying attention. So I ended up using like 6 elixirs and like trying to get people's max HP back up. But it was really cool. It was a really fun like. It wasn't difficult really. I just had to use a bunch of potions to kind of keep myself in good standing. But even if I hadn't done that, I could have gotten through it, I'm sure. Well, I love the night because it like the entire dynamic of the land completely changes because A, obviously there are more dangerous enemies out, and B, like you don't see those enemies like you do when you're during the day. It's like if you're driving and you see like off to the right, there's like some guys over there. I can just keep going or I can go fight them. these fucking guys just pop out of the goddamn ground.
Yeah.
The only time I got flooded and I actually couldn't fight, I didn't die. I almost died, like probably like 20 times. But I actually at one point had 5 Iron Giants and like 6 bombs. I swear. I was starting off, so I started off just fighting one. And while I was fighting just the one, they dropped Imperials. And I was like, oh shit, that's a lot.
That sucks.
And so like I'm sitting there fighting, and this was before I almost said his name. Our producer and I had a conversation, and he put me on a path in that game that kind of changed the dynamic. Yeah, it made it a lot easier for me. Which is, we should just say, like defense is wildly important. Like more than anything else in that game, make sure you have defense.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I started really focusing on defense. So I killed the giant. I swear another one popped up, and more Imperials came. Then there was a bomb, and I wasn't as good at the combat yet. So like I like to warp strike a lot. So I always find myself sometimes not focused on one enemy. So I'll like be kind of fighting all 3, which is like you don't want to do that. You want to try to take out who you can. And I swear, and then all of a sudden there was another one. And I'm like, oh shit! Like I didn't even know that could happen. Maybe not 5, but there was at least definitely 3 or 4 at one. There was definitely more that there was. I think I want to say 4. There were 4 at the same fucking time. There were like 3 bombs, and there were fucking Imperials. And I feel like the demons and the Imperials were also fighting. Unless maybe there's so much shit happening on the screen that I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
I'm pretty sure things do fight each other in that game.
Prompto's got like a revolver, and he's just like,
there's a lot of head nodding going on, so I'm yes, things do fight each other.
It was like, I was literally on the brink of death every 10 seconds. Like I would like be on the brink of death, use a mega potion, get us all back, and be on the brink of death instantly right after that, because there's just so much shit going on. And like I was probably like a level 31.
Right.
And like so I wasn't like much higher than they were, and there's just too much.
So you're right at the Iron Giants level.
Yeah, and so like that was the only fight I think in the entire game that I've ever actually had to like run from, because if I did, there's no way I was gonna get through it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I haven't had to run from very many. Only when I was doing hunts that are like 6 levels higher than me or whatever, and wasn't prepared.
I feel like they're stronger on hunts. Like, I feel like I fight enemies that are that level and I can crush them. But if it's a hunt, they're like way more. And even if it's the same enemy type,
I think they just have better, more specific weaknesses, and so you have to target those weaknesses, and that's kind of the difference. Use the right weapons, use the right abilities, use the right elements to take them down faster.
Are you using magic?
Occasionally. When I have it.
I almost never use it anymore.
I use it when I try to like fill a flask. I'll try to kind of combine some things, so I'll get, instead of getting 3 charges, I'll get like 5 or 7 charges. So, depending on what you put into it. So that way, it's a little bit more reliable. Lasts a little bit longer. 3 charges you run out really quickly. It kind of just feels wasteful.
There might be a little pro tip for you guys watching, maybe even for you. The only reason I found this out is because I was making potions and I was just going through every single item one by one and seeing the stuff. Rusted coins, rare coins, rusted coins, and like debased coins. They actually you interlace experience into your magic attack. So like you get a burst of like. You basically get a huge burst of experience when you use the magic attack.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of coins, so like I could easily be power leveling just using coin magic attacks, but I still don't do it anyway. I don't use magic all that often. I enjoy the weapon combat so much, and the warp strikes and the link strikes. Yeah,
and that's what's fun. Like I use magic when I either don't want to deal with a big group of enemies, or it's just a tougher fight, and I don't want to use a mega potion or something like that, and I want to just take them out quicker.
Sure. Any final thoughts on our Final Fantasy, our FF update?
I need to play more story. I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe.
Yeah, I started doing that a little bit. I think that at least all the side quests that I could see on the map were done, and I kind of was ignoring hunt. I've been ignoring hunts a little bit. I still a rank 3, I want to say, but I kind of stopped doing hunts for a while because it was just I was just doing so many side missions, man. Like I felt like it was totally like I would play like an hour of story and like 5 hours of side quests. And I was like, I should probably start knocking out some story. I'm not like in a hurry to beat the game or anything like that. Although our producer beat it. Well, he like finished the story. Good. He finished just. I mean,
it was good.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's gonna have to get there sooner than later.
Oh, it's holiday season. People tend to have a little more free time when they're not stuffing their faces full of turkey and mashed potatoes. Sounds good though. Sounds good. So, KOTOR.
All right.
Knights of the Old Republic.
What do you want to talk about with KOTOR?
So I have a prediction that KOTOR, at the very least, the first Knights of the Republic, is going to have a remaster come out soon. I'm not saying like soon within a month, but I feel like maybe within the next year. I feel like we're going to hear about it soon. Now,
I think you're wrong.
We'll get to that. I don't know. It's like, so all right. Disney,
Why? Let me ask questions.
So this.
Why do you think? What gives you this feeling?
What gives you the right to say something like that? I just feel like Disney has been sitting on these properties, right? They were sitting on Star Wars. They were sitting on Marvel for years now, and they didn't do anything with it as far as video games are concerned. And
Disney's owned the rights to Star Wars for like 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've been sitting on these properties for years. And
I feel like that's not very long.
I mean, like, you think, like, they're fucking money, man. I mean, they print money at Disney. You'd think, like, they want to, like, cash in, like, cool, we have Star Wars, and, like, they've only had really one game, and that's Battlefront. Right. And so, I feel like we're on the precipice of Disney, at least that version of Disney releases. So, they've been sitting on Marvel even longer, and everybody's like, where the fuck are all my Marvel games? You got Batman Arkham Knight, you got DC Universe, you got, I mean, there are some, they have like the Marvel PC game that's like Diablo, Marvel Heroes maybe. Anyway, all of a sudden now we're starting to get wind of these games. We have Spider-Man coming out by Insomniac, which looks awesome, looks gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got Guardians of the Galaxy. That was rumored for a while. Telltale's confirmed Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out. We got Star Wars Battlefront. We know we're getting Star Wars Battlefront 2. We're also getting, I don't know what it's actually called, but it's like what Star Wars 1313 essentially was. It's been sort of, they threw it in the fucking slap chop, threw it in the NutriBullet with some other shit, and now they're kind of bringing a new project out with it. And I just feel like now is the time. Not now as in tomorrow, but I feel like I'd say within the year, we at least hear about a Knights of the Old Republic remaster.
Well, so here's the thing.
It's one of like the most wanted remasters. I'd say like that and Red Dead.
Where did you get your facts from?
Did you see his... This is just basic science, man. This is just basic.
You're at this point you're just pulling stuff out of nowhere.
Okay, I never said it was the most.
So you've just said it was one of the most wanted remakes, but I don't. You're the only person I've ever heard say, you know what I really want? I really want a KOTOR.
Right, that game has quite a following. It has so much of a following they were able to make an MMO out of it.
They didn't make the MMO because of KOTOR.
That's technically KOTOR 3. If you ask BioWare,
yes,
KOTOR, the Old Republic is KOTOR 3, and that only exists when you have KOTOR and KOTOR 2. And KOTOR 2 only got rushed into development because KOTOR 1 was such a sleeper hit.
No, it's not. They didn't make KOTOR. They didn't make the Star Wars, the Old Republic MMO because there is a big following of KOTOR fans. It's like,
just Star Wars.
Not why
people tend to make Star Wars.
Why they did it.
Well, they already had Galaxy. Yeah, they already had Galaxies, but the Old Republic is the same universe as KOTOR.
Right.
And KOTOR 2.
And I know that, but it is built upon that, but that it wasn't built because of that.
Yeah, but if you think about KOTOR, first of all, this isn't even the topic, but I do like that we're talking about it.
It's like,
let's say KOTOR comes out, right? Let's go back when it came out. If it sucked, you really think we'd have the Old Republic? If KOTOR 1 sucked, you think there would have ever been a sequel? Like if it was, say it came out and it got 5s and 6s and no one fucking played it.
We wouldn't have the Old Republic, but we'd have a Star Wars MMO. Like
we did.
Someone would have made a Star Wars MMO. It has nothing to do with whether or not KOTOR existed. KOTOR was a great setup for the Old Republic, and so they used it as a springboard for story and for background because that's what people want. People in the Star Wars fan base, people want story, they want background, they want. I thought you froze for a second because you were sitting still and then you blinked and. So people want the background, people want the canon. So it, in my opinion, has nothing to do with the fact that KOTOR exists, that the Old Republic exists. It exists in its current state because of KOTOR, but it doesn't exist at all because of KOTOR.
Well, I feel like the Old Republic exists because of KOTOR. I mean, there were Star Wars Galaxies.
Okay.
There were cool. Listen, there were cool things. I played Star Wars Galaxies. I played it quite a bit. There were cool things about Star Wars Galaxies, but you and I both know it was not a good game. And BioWare proved that it. I mean, we're going back to when licensed games were still shit for the most part. And so, I mean, even like the old, like, let's say what you will, but like the old SNES, those Star Wars games, they're not good. They're just hard, like every other goddamn SNES game. And so, fast forward now, you give BioWare, you're like, here's this property that means a lot to so many people. Let's see what you can do with it. And they come up with KOTOR. And that, say what you will, that is like, that's like probably on a lot of, I would say a lot of like pretty hardcore gamers, that's in their top whatever list. Maybe it's top 20, maybe it's top 30. That's in people's lists. And, it did so well that they rushed KOTOR 2. It wasn't even BioWare, it was Obsidian. They were like, we need another one of these because we didn't expect this to be what it was. It was like a good game, and then BioWare went Jade Empire, which was also fantastic. And then without those games, you don't have the Old Republic. And Star Wars Galaxies, that shit died the fuck off. So, like, I don't know if there would have been... I mean, yeah, probably eventually we would have probably got another Star Wars MMO. But, like, we might not have one right now. We might get one in 5 years because then the movies are doing well. But I think KOTOR has everything to do with the Old Republic. At least getting to that point. They're like, you guys have done something. You've proven yourself. KOTOR exists now. And that KOTOR even put BioWare on the map in a lot of ways. PC gamers knew who BioWare was. Console gamers did not know who BioWare was. Console gamers were introduced to BioWare with KOTOR. They knew Baldur's Gate and stuff from PC, so like, yeah, that was like the PC gamers, the PC master race. Those fucking guys were all like, yeah, like, absolutely, blah, blah, blah. Shit. We didn't know. I wasn't a big PC gamer. I played at my buddy's house. Like I played Dungeon Siege and Diablo and all that shit at my buddy's house. But I didn't know who BioWare was, and I played KOTOR, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And I wasn't the only one. So I just feel like, getting back to the original point, I feel like KOTOR is one of those games. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's time. It's time for that game to be remastered.
Okay, so here's the thing. So you talked about Disney, and
I don't know. Looking at that, you pulled stuff up. Why are you pulling up stats, bro?
I'm looking at something. I'm looking at when KOTOR came out and when Mass Effect came out. And I'm not. We don't need to get into what put BioWare on the map. That's a totally different discussion.
Well, I mean, yeah, Mass Effect was. I mean, yeah, that was really, really big.
So well.
And we're getting it.
Yeah. So
listen.
our executive producer, who is a huge jackass right now for bringing that up, brought up Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is what the world is waiting for. He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
As just to rebuttal your comment about how people really want, a KOTOR remake.
We're getting Shenmue 3. I wanted it for a long time, and it happened. But I feel like KOTOR can happen if Shenmue 3 can happen. Think about it. They were like, hey, there's this weird fucking game on the Dreamcast, and they got $6 million in less than 24 hours. Sorry, I get carried away.
KOTOR, Disney can't just remaster KOTOR. They don't necessarily own the rights to KOTOR. They own the rights to Star Wars. And I don't know, maybe they own the rights to every Star Wars game ever made, like that LucasArts was part of. I don't know the details of the deal, so maybe this isn't true. But there are only so many companies that are working on Star Wars games. There's only so many companies that Disney's going to be like, here, you make a Star Wars game. And all the really good ones are tied up in other really good games. Battlefield or Battlefront 2, is scheduled to come out next year. They're not going to drop Battlefront 2, which is a huge moneymaker for, EA and Disney and everybody involved, just to make, just to remaster KOTOR. Because the KOTOR remaster is going to be the same thing as all the other remasters. It'll sell, it'll sell okay. People who like the game will buy it to play it again. A small percentage, right? And maybe I would too, but a small percentage that never got a chance to play it would buy it. But it's not making anybody any money, and that's what they're after. That's why I don't think so if they have some free time, the right person convinces the right person that it's worth putting the time and money into, they figure out a relatively easy way to to bring it into a new engine without years and years of work. That's part of it too. What engine did they use then? What engine are they using now? How compatible are they?
Do they even need to? I don't really know how remastering totally works. I don't know. A remake would be different, but a remastering, I don't know. Maybe it might not even be hard to remaster a game. It might take less than a year in a small team, just kind of sporadically working on it.
It all just depends.
So yeah, we should be clear. So what I'm talking about. See, and actually bringing up Final Fantasy isn't even technically a good argument because they're actually remaking Final Fantasy VII, which requires significant, much more time and effort because you're literally creating a new game. You're making a game from scratch based on a past game.
Yes. What I'm Final Fantasy VII Remake is literally a new game built from the ground up.
The only thing that's there that was already there is the story and the characters, but everything else, new engine, you're literally creating the game from scratch. Now, remaster, on the other hand, is just a game, Last of Us is a good example. They took a game, they, put some fancy new coat of paint on it and re-release it. Last of Us, I think, had new better lighting effects, I think up-res textures, but it's really, it wasn't they didn't recreate the game, so it takes significantly less time.
Right, but there's a big difference between a PS3 and it wasn't. The Last of Us wasn't really a remaster. The Last of Us was effectively a port to the PS4. It's a
remaster.
Okay, well, I don't think they didn't change the engine. So they updated textures, but they didn't change the engine.
No, they don't have. They don't have to.
But KOTOR's on 20-year-old technology. They can't just drop that into a PS4 and say it's going to work. They have to update the technology to work with the new system. They're not going to drop in the old engine on with new graphics.
They have you could play Final Fantasy VII, the old Final Fantasy VII on PS4, and it works fine. Or The Warriors, that's a PS2 game.
But that's a totally different. That's playing an old. Yeah, that's a totally different thing. That's not a remaster.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Apparently, they've updated some of it.
They did. They kind of sort of made a remaster for Android. Yeah.
Bottom line,
not a remaster, but
even if it's not that hard, bottom line, they have to find a developer that they trust to do it, and it has to be worth the cost because it's not going to make them very much money. At the end of the day, a KOTOR remaster is not going to make them very much money, especially considering the big flop of Skyrim. When Skyrim's a huge, there's a huge following, and a lot of people, bought it, but it didn't show well. It had a lot of the same issues.
The one that just came out on PS4?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it not doing well?
I think it's sold all right, but it has a lot of the same issues that they had before. So they were like, "Hey, we made it looks better, and we fixed a whole bunch of issues," and they didn't.
That's just that straight up. That's because Bethesda they make great games, but technically they kind of suck as a fucking developer. Their games are bugged as shit for the entirety of the release. Skyrim is selling well. It's going to sell on its name, and I'm not trying to compare KOTOR to Skyrim. That's not what I'm trying to do. I understand that Skyrim is a sensation, but we have Rogue One tomorrow. Now is the time. We are on Star Wars is hitting the fucking ground running. The Force Awakens was the beginning. Now we've got Rogue One, we've got Episode 8, we've got the Han Solo anthology film, we got Episode 9, we've got an Obi-Wan potential spinoff. Like, now is the fucking time where, like, you need to push the shit. I'm surprised it took them so long to start getting Marvel games off the ground. And I know it's tricky because, like, there has been a past of bad licensed games. Star Wars is a license, and definitely bad superhero games, and Marvel's superheroes. So it's like, you got to be careful, and I feel like Marvel's... I think Disney's the one that knows what they're doing. I mean, we right now know for a fact, besides Battlefront, that there are 2 other games in development for Star Wars. There's the one that who does Dead Space? Visceral?
Yeah.
Games? Visceral is working on a game right now, I believe. It's Visceral, a Star Wars game. And Respawn, who does Titanfall, is working on a Star Wars game. And I think the third one is the Star Wars 1313 one. The girl that worked on Uncharted, the storyteller. I forget her name. She's like the one that's heading the project. So I think there's actually 4 Star Wars games in the loop right now, including Battlefront 2. Now is the time to really re-release that KOTOR. And like, I'm not, I would be
maybe
satisfied.
They're already doing it. Maybe one of those is. I mean, if there's that many people working on a Star Wars game, how many different Star Wars games can you make all at the same time? So
nice. I know that there's a part of me that has wishful thinking, but I said for years and years and years that I wanted Shenmue 3, and it's happening. So I'm not ruling anything out. I also played and beat Alpha Protocol, so anything can happen.
You certainly did. Twice.
I played it twice. I only played and beat it the second time. So, but we don't have to. I know we got a lot more to talk about. We don't have to keep talking about it.
Let's move on.
Keep an eye out. I said a year. Let's mark down this December 14th. By next year, we have to hear.
By December 2017.
We gotta hear. I didn't say it'll be out. I said we'll hear something.
Okay.
Maybe it'll be out. Oh God, I fucking hope so. That would make. I would have a full-on chub for like weeks after that shit came out. Anyway, Switch. Okay. We finally got this. We got to see the Switch. It happened. It was on Jimmy Fallon. What do you think?
I don't know. We got to see it. We got to see it. I mean, not much more. I mean, they didn't really show any more than they showed in the in the promo.
Right.
Except Jimmy Fallon going crazy over it.
You think he's really a fan, or you think it's just for show?
What? Like, I think he's a fan.
Yeah.
I think he's a fan. I think he's the perfect like show to do that on if you want to kind of highlight it a little bit.
Sure.
And it's all about building up hype for the reveal or the details in January.
Yeah.
It's really all they're doing because they didn't show anything from Zelda that we really don't know. They didn't show anything about the Switch that we don't know. They didn't give any details that we don't already know or wasn't already obvious. So it was cool to see a live person playing it, I guess. But from a
Fallon might be
fanboy perspective, but from a industry perspective, it's all just publicity.
Yeah, you got Reggie. You got Miyamoto just doing his fucking best in the crowd, man. Just doing his best to keep a smile on. But I mean, like, I want to see. I mean, like, I just think it's so weird that thing is out like tomorrow, and we don't know like anything fucking about it. I don't literally mean tomorrow. I guess I should assume everybody knows. It's gonna be out in March, and right now we don't know. We don't know how much it is. With the big rumor is $249, which I think makes sense. We know very little about the games. The only thing we've really seen enough of is Zelda. Apparently there's a Mario. We haven't seen it. Well, I guess we did see it for like a second in that trailer. But I forget the date. It's like January or something. They're like gonna 14? Like finally. 11. They're like, hey, we're gonna talk about our fucking system, and then it comes out in a month or 2 months from now. But here's the info about it. But
yeah.
January 12th, 1 p.m. Eastern. Nice.
We'll check it out. We'll talk about it. Right after that happens, I'm sure we'll all be glued to our computers to see what they have to say. Which will probably be, look at Zelda. Look how much fun this is. It's $249 or whatever the price is. It comes out this day. Go buy one, and then.
But then the other rumor is that Zelda's not going to even come out until like June or July, which seems. And like I should first say that when I talk about a rumor on this show, it's because it's something that I feel like comes from a reputable source. So you just have to trust my judgment on this one. Yeah, I heard from
Kotaku.
Maybe. And so I feel like it's like this. Yeah, I think it was actually Kotaku that said that it might not come out until June or July, which seems like it would be a very. Well, I don't mind delays, but I feel like from financial standpoint, it's a big mistake to not launch a Zelda. You need that game, and this is the game you've been showing us. This is what people want. This is what the people are fucking foaming at the mouth for. But whatevs.
Well, let's talk about somebody that's doing something awesome in the industry.
Yeah, so I've these
talk about Blizzard a little bit.
Yeah, so I kind of want to keep these topics together. So we're going to talk about Overwatch, and they have a new winter update, and GTA Online also has a new update, which is basically just Fast and the Furious, but they're not calling it that. It's like you have like you do like car heists, and they even have like some of the cars you've seen in Fast and the Furious, like the militarized vehicles. Both updates, both free. GTA Online has surprisingly enough been like incredibly relevant since it's come out, which is like good for them because that game, not the game, but the online launched like fucking garbage. I mean, like I remember like it was fucked for like a month, and now it's like like people live on that shit. I mean, I'd probably say it's probably second to Call of Duty. Like you have your Call of Duty guys, you got your fucking GTA Online guys, and then you got people like us that have some brain cells. And so they have, and then when I want to talk about Overwatch,
wow. Well, we just lost half of our 11 viewers.
Now we're down to 7. So Overwatch is, they have a new winter update, and I think we've kind of talked about this before. Like I'm hoping that other developers, and it does sort of seem like it, are going to start jumping on the bandwagon here, where it's like I think content's starting to become free. Like I feel like you're probably always going to have to pay for your Battlefield Premium, your Call of Duty Premium, but Ubisoft has said it before. I mean, Yves Guillemot or whatever, the CEO I think of Ubisoft, said that he's like more interested in anything that's paid for being like not something that like affects gameplay. So like not new maps or like new modes or new characters. Maybe like a new gun skin or like a new character skin might be something that you pay for, similar to Overwatch.
Right.
Anything that actually affects the game, you can get in the game for free. If you want, and even the loot crates you can get for free, but if you want to shell out the extra $5.
It takes longer.
And then so they keep updating the game, similar to actually Destiny. I will give Destiny some credit. They do like these limited time updates. They did one for Halloween, which actually added a PvE mode, where it was like a little mini raid. Which if they ever brought like a dedicated PvE mode to that game, I mean like that's it. Like I'm cutting my dick off and throwing it in space. Like I'm so fucking happy. That tends to be what I do when I get really happy. And then God, why do people let me talk in front of cameras? And then, so the new mode is this fucking snowball fight.
Yeah, I read about it today. It's so cool. It's very cool sounding. And like you said, though, it's genius because it's a limited event, and it gets people. It's gonna bring people in. Like I don't own Overwatch, but I'm like, man, that would be so much fun. Like I should go buy Overwatch. I'm not going to, but it's
should though.
It's a small free update that only lasts for 3 weeks, and it's going to bring people in to play the game, and then they're going to want to buy skins that are only available for 3.5 weeks, and whatnot. It's a kind of a genius model, and this is really going back to
like old school, even like, early like World of Warcraft and stuff.
Well, like old school like MMOs, like EverQuest and. Some World of Warcraft to some extent, they had free updates as the game progressed, and then they had expansion, which added huge sections of the game. MMOs and FPSs, obviously very different, but they're not, but Overwatch isn't going to get an expansion, but it's just going to get these little, updates. But free updates were a thing. They would update content, and they would make changes as needed. They would add a new PvP mode if it was, they just needed to get, bring something fresh in. So it's kind of nice to see companies sort of go back to the roots, if you will, of online gaming.
Well, and I think I'm torn because I definitely come from a mindset where I understand that the cost of making a game is substantially larger than it ever has been.
Right.
And for really games are only like $10 more, and in some instances less. Like some SNES games are more than $60. Even some N64 games I think were more than $60. And I don't like Battlefield, I don't mind shelling out the $50 to ensure that everything comes out, for that game that I'll get. And it's usually pretty substantial. Like, you get by the time that's over, you'll have 4 new operations, which take over an hour to do. You'll have probably
that's good content.
12 new maps, new guns. I think they even said new classes, which I haven't seen yet in a Battlefield game. They're actually bring out new classes in the DLC expansions. I didn't, now Titanfall on the other hand, they don't have a pass, but they are charging for stuff, but it's all customizable or just visual stuff,
aesthetic. It's all aesthetic.
Which I'm cool with. They're going the other route. They're like, you know what, just buy the game. They released a new map, the Angel City, which is something that people have been asking for. People sometimes get the things I ask for, Mike, even if it's KOTOR.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they live in a pipe dream world.
I got Shenmue 3. I'm getting fucking KOTOR in one way or the other. No, but I think it's awesome. I think the balance is great, and Blizzard knows they're gonna sell their games, and I know Blizzard also has they got the money to spare if they lose a little bit. I feel like they're kind of okay. They're building Overwatch to be something much more than it even was at the start. I think the PvE mode might absolutely be a thing. A little raid boss kind of thing where you and 3 friends just fight, one of the characters.
They're not losing any money on Overwatch.
Right. But I'm saying they're
not losing anything on Overwatch.
No, they're making a lot of money.
If they're losing anything on any game, it's Heroes of the Storm, and even that, I don't think they're losing anything on.
There are those companies out there that print money. I didn't mean they were losing money. I just meant they could afford to kind of roll the dice on some things like that.
Sure, to roll.
Which I feel like absolutely Battlefield could do the same. Call of Duty could do the same. If anybody couldn't afford it, it's probably Respawn, but they're doing it anyway. They're just getting their stuff out there for free.
Yeah.
So I just like that. I'm glad that we're living in an age where some of these games can kind of sustain themselves through microtransactions that you don't actually need to buy. I have a game on my phone. This is kind of a little sidetrack, but Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It's a free game. I typically don't like freemium games. I think I spent, I really liked it. I think I spent $20 when I first got it on some stuff, and I've never spent another dollar. But I've actually been able to progress in the game. I don't feel
that's cool.
Clash of Clans was really bad about it. If you didn't spend money on that game, you could not progress, or at least it would take a very long time. I don't mind the spending of the money, but I'm looking forward to more Overwatch stuff, and I want to play that snowball mode. REP's got it. I got it. They'll have a fucking snowball fight, bro. And the World of Tanks just got. I saw the commercial for it. They got a little Christmas free limited time mode too. It's you play as toy tanks under a Christmas tree with big Christmas presents, and you're shooting little. Cool. Yeah.
That's a nice little bonus thing.
Nice little treat.
Oh. So. Like a Christmas present.
Little Christmas present. What else we got?
That's it for this week, man. You got any final thoughts? Anything you want to add?
KOTOR 3. Or not 3, just KOTOR Remastered. We got a year. We got a year to hear about it.
We'll see. I don't think that's the next one, but it's too much other big stuff.
You don't think that's the next KOTOR?
The next remaster. I don't know what it's going to be, but I feel like KOTOR's not it. But maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. Here's hoping.
Did you play KOTOR, by the way?
Yeah.
Do you like
I have
it?
the first and second one on Steam.
Good games. Anyway, where can they find us? Where can all these lovely people find us?
You know where you can go to find us?
Where can they go?
You can go to patreon.com/CPMG. That is our Patreon site. You can also go to checkpointmg.com, which has everything. It has our YouTube, has our Facebook, our Twitter, our Patreon. It has our merch store.
T-shirt hoodies.
Get on our newsletter. We don't have a newsletter.
Not yet. We don't.
But you can sign up for one.
What we're gonna have a new show coming out here shortly. What can they look forward to?
At the end of the month, we are doing a show called CP Playlist. December will be the first recording. It will be what we played in December, and then what is coming up in January. So if you want to know what's coming out, if you want to know what might be worth playing in January, you'll have to check out the CP Playlist.
And let's say someone has only seen the Checkpoint. What other good stuff do we have on our YouTube channel that they could check out?
You know what good stuff we have? We have... That was a great segue, actually. We have a whole bunch of CP stories. These are...
Like, what the fuck is a CP story? That sounds fucking tits.
You know what? It is. We have CP stories, which are short stories, just encounters we've had in gaming, opinions we've had in gaming, some nostalgic stories going back in the day to 1998. I fact-checked that. And just some fun little things that I think you guys will really like. They're high energy, lots of fun, really good storytelling going on from this one, Ryan Rugged Nerd Marshall.
Come on. You just made one, didn't you? What was yours about?
About Starsiege Tribes. So
you should check. You guys can check it out.
Yeah.
I just recorded 2 more that you can look out for. I recorded a Super Smash Brothers story and a Titanfall 2 story. But that's actually not it either. There's something else that we do. What do you do? Tell them what you do.
I have another recording that I do called Nothing to Play. If you're looking for something to play, you have 1,000 games in your Steam library, you're not sure which one's worth it. I play random games from Steam, and then I give a review at the end. I play them for an hour, just 1 hour, so it's not a very long. Yeah, it's not a very long show. And then at the end, I'll give you my opinion, what I think, whether it's worth buying or not, and kind of just an overview of the game.
That's actually really good. I love that idea because I feel like it's like the metaphor of like opening up the fridge continuously, and just like wanting something to eat, but you're never happy. Right. It's like I've definitely been in those funks as a gamer where it's like I have so much to play, but I have nothing to play at the same time.
You're so overwhelmed with your list that you can't figure out which one.
So you tell that idea to go fuck itself, and you're like, here's what you should fucking play. Or you play it for an hour and you're like, this game sucks, so don't fucking play this game. But next week you might have something good. So check us all out. We got a whole bunch of shit. Checkpoint Media Group. We got CP stories coming out of our tits. We got Checkpoint groups coming out of our dicks. We got shit all over the place. It's funny sometimes. It's offensive most of the time. Mostly for me. 100% for me. This guy's clean. You can check him out if you like the clean shit. But he's got good stories. I got good stories. We all got good stories. Have a good night, guys.
We'll see you next week. Later.